You have to be quiet now because I'm
Hand today.
for the
All right.
Alexanders.
So,
We're gonna be quiet and then you listen.
So I wear glasses just so everyone knows, okay? It's not, I wear contacts. My contact is just done, and they're disposable ones, and I just not been to the doctor to pick them up yet. They're in. Today I couldn't stand it in my house. So I hope my glasses aren't distracting to you because you're not used to them. So, but I've worn them since I was 8. So I'm used to them, you're just not. All right, so last week we started talking about our hands, and we're going to finish that up today, okay, the best that we can. We started talking about our hands and the fact that our hands are used to be a blessing to people, to work with the Lord, to work for the Lord, and especially, and then we started talking about this at the end, to be a blessing to, first of all, our families. If you'll turn to Proverbs 31, Proverbs 31.
Putting it down now.
All right, our hands do all kinds of stuff. They work. They're supposed to work. We talked about last week how that we cannot be the lady that God wants us to be and be lazy. God doesn't want us to be lazy women. He wants us to work for Him. There's no room for laziness. There's no room for idleness. There is room for rest. There is room for relaxing and enjoying. But as God laid it out in His original intent, there's 6 days to labor and 1 day to rest. And so that is a wonderful way for us to build our lives. We work hard, but there is a time and a place for rest and for relaxation and for recreation and enjoyment. And the Lord wants us to enjoy all of those things. But we're going to talk about the work part of it. So if you look in Proverbs 31, the very last verse, verse 31, it says this: "Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates." So what we do with our lives is what we build with our hands. We know that Proverbs 14 says that a wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. We, right now, no matter what age you're in, no matter what phase you're in, you are building or destroying the house that you live in. So even if you're not in charge of your house, so we have Lillian. She's not the leader of her house, but she's part of her house. And so she's either learning to build her house or she's tearing it down. And that goes for each of us. We're either building our house or we're tearing it down. We started talking about different things, and I need to zoom past what we did last week. But we started talking about our families, how we serve our families first, and then we serve others next. And there's a great balance that is there. We talked about we feed our family, we clothe our family, we care for our family, we look to our family's future, but we care for our homes. And we started talking about a little bit about our homes and how God has called us to be a keeper at home. That does not mean, I want everyone, I try so hard to make a nice level balance in my teaching. I try because I know that we as people tend to take one point and we rip it to one side, and we rip it to the one ditch. So we have to stay right in the middle, okay? So when we are to care for our homes, we're to be a keeper of our home, but that's not my only job, right? That's not the only thing that I do. I don't spend 24/7 cleaning the corners of my baseboards, right? That's not what God has intended for me to do. God has made us where this part of our life, taking care of our homes and seeing things work and organize and being a pleasant place for our families, it is a major crux of our life, but it's not the only thing that we do. We have to remember this, that what we do with our hands is for the Lord. What we do with our hands is for other people. What we do with our hands is to bless others. So when we use what we do with our hands and it becomes a drudgery, or it becomes, I get this bad attitude about it, or it becomes no one can live in a happy manner, or I'm working with my hands in this unhappy way, then that is not what God wants. God wants us to have our homes, and He wants us to be a blessing to them in a cheerful way. And so we're to care for our homes. We are to care for our homes. And I found it hard to find the balance in what to say here. You know, I don't live in your home, and you don't live in my home. And when I come over to your home, I don't sit there and look around and think, wow, they're an awesome housekeeper, or wow, they're filthy, right? I don't visit you. I don't go to people's house and think that things. It's your home. It's what works for your family. Everybody has a different family unit, and we have everybody has a different number of family members, we all have different schedules. We have, if we have a husband, we adapt our lives to our husband's work, right? So if a lady's married to a baker gets up early in the morning, right, and does his work early throughout the day, and then her schedule may be different will be different than a lady whose husband works third shift. So our lives are different, but there is this basic premise throughout our lives as women is that we are to help, and we are to be a blessing to other people. And so in regards to our house, I'm not here to tell you how clean is clean enough, and how organized is organized enough. That's what works for your family, okay? It also has to do with what stage of life we're in, how many children we have, the other things that the Lord has us do in our life. But the key is this. The key is that my family is first. Everything else is in addition to. And I think if we get that, we'll have a lot less problem processing what we have to do in life. Does that make sense? So yesterday, I had a whole list of things that I could have done. But what I had to say to myself was this: my family is first. And so I did those things first. And I didn't get to some of the other lists that dealt with other people. And that is not at all saying that I don't reach out to other people. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But it's saying this: our families are first. We take care of them first. And then we reach out to other people. And it's important to know that along the way, God just wants what's best for our family. And I'm not here to tell you, look, I said this, your house has to be immaculate and clean. I know how to do that. I'm not gonna lie. So I was raised that way. I cleaned houses with my mother for years. I cleaned houses while I was still married. I know how to make something spotless. But there came a point in my life where I understood that I was no longer in that phase of my life. And it's not spotless anymore, okay? And I can't make it be that way. We have a very small house, and we live there. And there's lots of living happening in my house. And it's just not gonna stay that way. And I had to get over that, right? A house is to live in. A house is to love in. A house is to enjoy each other's company in. So there is a balance that's there, and that's between you and the Lord to find that balance for your life. There's all kinds of things we can look up and understand and read about. You know, some people were never taught how to care for a house. It's not their fault. They literally just don't know. And you know what? There's so many things that we can do. We can talk to people that understand that. We can read so many books. There's so many things that we can read about it. And I'm not here to tell you there's one perfect way. That's not at all. But I would like to share 2 points that we can all we can all apply to our lives. Number one is this: that my home is to be a blessing. All right? So my home is to be a blessing to my family first. Now, I wish you could see my heart. I'm talking to me, and I have to make myself understand this on a daily basis. When my children, I deal with this. I wish you could see my heart. I deal with this so much. But when it is chaos at my house, okay? When practical everyday things aren't being able to be accomplished because of how chaotic the house has become, okay? That's not being a blessing to my family. Now, here's the thing. Are there seasons of life? Yes, absolutely. Is your house going to get chaotic? Yes, that's called life, okay? And sometimes I think that we always have to put ourselves in somebody else's shoes. Somebody with smaller children, somebody with many more children than us, somebody that's taking care of ailing parents, somebody that's doing all this other stuff. You know, it's not our job to look at them and pick at them and say they should do this and this better. I'm just saying there are phases in life and different things happen, okay? But my home is to be a blessing to people. And if my family can't live in a productive way because of how my house is, then that's not being a blessing. My second thing that I would encourage is this: we are a steward of everything that we own. So God gives us everything that we own, okay? Or we get it ourselves, okay? So maybe God gives it to us, maybe God gives it to us, maybe we purchase it, but regardless, it's in my possession, and so now I'm a steward of it. And a steward takes care of things for somebody. That's what they do. So my only point is this: do Do you want it enough to take care of it the right way? That's my only point. So when you go to the store and you think, I would like to purchase that,